The sinking of the RMS Titanic, Sleeping Sun. Full 60-minute script part 1. The dream that set sail, soft piano, sound of ocean waves. It was the dawn of a new century, an age of invention, industry, and human pride. And in the heart of Belfast, a dream was being built from steel, steam, and ambition. They called her Titanic, the greatest ship the world had ever seen. She was not just a vessel, she was a promise. A floating city meant to conquer the ocean itself. Her builders said she was unsinkable. The newspapers echoed that word like prophecy. And so when April 1912 came, the world's eyes turned toward her, gleaming, majestic, unstoppable. But history would soon reveal that even the greatest creations of man bow to the power of nature. Part 2. The city of Belfast. Sounds of hammers, engines, and seagulls. Belfast, Ireland, 1909. The Harland and Wolff shipyard stretched along the docks like an empire of iron. Over 15,000 men worked day and night, forging steel plates, riveting hulls, and giving life to what was to become the Titanic. For nearly 3 years they labored in rain and wind. No man knew that his sweat would one day stain history. The Titanic rose from the docks, 882 feet long, a mountain of steel that touched the clouds. To the people of Belfast, she was a source of pride, a masterpiece of human hands. They didn't know she would soon be their monument of grief. Part 3. The Unsinkable Legend, Orchestral Swell. When the Titanic was finally revealed, she was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Inside her walls were marble floors, crystal chandeliers, velvet carpets, and grand staircases that sparkled beneath the glow of light bulbs. She was luxury defined, the pride of the White Star Line. The newspapers called her a ship of dreams, but beneath the grandeur was something darker, a quiet arrogance. Only 20 lifeboats were fitted aboard, not nearly enough for everyone on board. Why? Because she was unsinkable. That word echoed through the halls of the Titanic before it ever set sail, and that same word would echo through history forever. Part 4. The maiden voyage begins. Sound of ship horn. Cheering crowd, April 10th, 1912. Southampton, England. Thousands gathered to witness the Titanic's maiden voyage. She was bound for New York, the gateway to dreams, fortune, and freedom. Families waved from the dock as the band played a cheerful tune. Children laughed. Lovers held hands. No one could imagine the tragedy that awaited in the icy waters ahead. As the Titanic's engines roared to life, a hush fell over the crowd. Then a cheer. The ship of dreams had begun her first and last journey. Part 5. The passengers, soft orchestral music. Over 2,200 souls were aboard. The wealthy and powerful occupied the upper decks. Millionaires, nobles, and artists. John Jacob Astor, one of the richest men in America, walked the promenade with his young wife. The unsinkable Molly Brown, fearless and kind-hearted, enjoyed the luxury few could ever imagine. But below deck, in third class, and it was a different world. Immigrant families from Ireland, Sweden, and Italy huddled together, clutching their tickets to a new life in America. They didn't share the luxury, but they shared the same hope, a fresh start. The Titanic carried not just passengers, but the dreams of nations. Part 6. A floating palace, sound of laughter, music, clinking glasses. Life aboard the Titanic was pure wonder. Lavish dinners in the first-class dining room. Dances to the ship's orchestra beneath glittering lights. Every detail was perfection, from the golden cutlery to the polished oak walls. For those few days it felt like heaven at sea. The wealthy spoke of business and politics. The poor dreamed of opportunity. But through the laughter and music, the sea outside remained cold and silent, waiting. The Titanic glided forward through the dark waters, unaware of the fate that waited beyond the horizon. Part 7. Warnings ignored. Low hum of static. Morse code beeps. On April 14th, the Titanic began receiving warnings. Messages from nearby ships about drifting icebergs in the North Atlantic. 6 warnings in total, but Captain Edward Smith and his officers pressed on. The ship was behind schedule, and her reputation was flawless. The engines kept pushing, full speed ahead. The wireless operators were busy sending passenger messages to shore. Love notes, business updates, dreams in motion. And one critical iceberg warning was missed entirely. The calm sea that night was deceptive. A trap set in silence. Part 8. The night of glass, wind fades, eerie silence. April 14th, 1912. A moonless night. The Atlantic stretched out like black glass. No waves, no wind, just stillness. At 11:30 p.m., the temperature dropped below freezing. On the Crow's Nest, lookouts Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee strained their eyes against the dark. No binoculars, no light, only instinct. Then at 11:40 p.m., a shadow. Iceberg right ahead. Fleet shouted. The bell rang 3 times, the signal of danger. The officers reacted instantly. Engines reversed, wheel turned hard to port. But fate had already spoken. The ship was too massive to turn in time. Part 9. The collision, metal tearing, muffled panic. A deep grinding roar echoed through the ship. The Titanic scraped along the iceberg for 10 deadly seconds. No explosion. No shattering crash. Just the quiet sound of destruction. Most passengers barely felt it. Some thought they'd struck a small wave. But deep below deck, water burst through the steel hull. 5 compartments were breached. 1 too many for survival. The Titanic could float with 4 flooded, but not 5. In that instant, her fate was sealed. The unsinkable ship had been mortally wounded. Part 10. The truth revealed, clock ticking, faint murmurs. At first, there was confusion. Passengers laughed. Some returned to their cabins. Even as the ship began to list slightly, few believed the danger was real. Captain Smith ordered the lifeboats uncovered, still unsure of the full extent. Then came the report from Thomas Andrews, the ship's designer. He had inspected the flooding himself. He turned to the captain and whispered the words that froze every heart on the bridge. She will sink. There is no stopping it. The ship of dreams was doomed, and she had less than 2 hours to live.